Hello everyone, myself Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Daily Stock, in which we are going to consider the financial report of the Broadcom Inc. for the first quarter of fiscal year 2024. Afterwards, we will be also considering its recent stock price performance to see if there are emerging opportunities for us to trade and invest. The Broadcom has successfully acquired VMware, which has helped it expand the footprint in enterprise software solutions, and along with that it is also seeing a major revenue boost from the ongoing AI wave, and this is just the beginning. It is likely to continue for foreseeable future, and that means that here onwards the Broadcom's revenue trajectory is going to be at least 30 to 40 percentage point higher to what it used to see till last fiscal year, and I feel Broadcom is now on a sustainable trajectory of the higher growth, and accordingly its valuations have also been upgraded, and even on these current higher share price, many of the analysts are still expecting the Broadcom stock price to continue to surge, and its forecasts have been priced higher. So, in this backdrop of positive commentary and positive growth, we have to see how to profit from this upward trajectory. So, first we take a look on the earnings report, which was released just a day back. Here, the revenues are up 34 percentage point year on year, and it also includes the VMware's share. Along with that, higher demand for the AI related solutions products have also been noted, and on these higher revenues, the net profit hasn't surged because the acquisition cost is also having the impact, and higher R&D spend is there because the Broadcom is preparing for AI related products. It has spent more money on the R&D, and that has reduced its net profit for the quarter, but it is going to help the company moving forward, and that is one key takeaway from these quarter's earnings. For the quarter ended February 4th, 2024, you can see that the revenues are substantially higher, and some key items to take note of is this increased R&D spend, which now stands at $2.3 billion in comparison to 1.38 billion just a year back. Then there is an increase in selling, general and administrative cost, which has almost tripled, and this has reduced its net profit, but this is not going to be the case every quarter, and this net income, which is substantially lower in comparison to the same quarter's revenues a year back, I feel that in the upcoming quarters, the company's net income is not only going to match up its prior quarter's performance, but in course of time, it will exceed and set new highs. That is my expectation. And if we consider the forward guidance provided by the Broadcom itself, the yearly revenues are expected to be around 40 percentage point higher in comparison to the prior years, and that includes the VMware acquisition and the VMware revenues as well. If we consider the cash flow from where the money is being generated and how it is being spent, the cash provided by the operating activities in is on similar ground. There is not much of any change in quarterly terms. For this quarter, the cash provided by the operating activities stood at $4.8 billion. Out of that, the acquisition related cash outflow was at US $25 billion, and this is a big item on this cash flow statement, and that has resulted in the cash outflow of more than 25 billion US dollars in the investing activity. But this is a one time investment, and it will pay itself off in course of time. For this acquisition, the company needed to borrow, and that is also reflecting on the financing activity in the form of this cash inflow of 30 billion US dollars. The company has also embarked on a share repurchase program in which it has spent upward of US 7 billion, and there has also been the distribution of dividend, which is higher in comparison to the prior quarter, and this has reduced its free cash flow. But of course, you always want your shareholders to benefit, your investors to benefit, and that is why the company is opting for these dividends and the share repurchase to boost value, to provide value to its common shareholders. And for the quarter, there is reduction in its cash and cash equivalent, but it is still sitting on a hefty cash pile of almost US 12 billion, which is lower by US 2.3 billion from the prior quarter. But I think it is quite a good amount of money to be having on the hand. Now we shift our gaze to the technical side of the story to see how things are unfolding on this side. For the Broadcom, in the short term, since the release of its quarterly earnings, it has seen this 4 to 5 percentage point decline. Even after seeing this top line growth, the bottom line growth is still to come, and maybe that is also one of the reason for some correction, some profit booking being observed in the stock price of the Broadcom. But this is from the short term perspective, and if the share price stabilizes and consolidates with the signs of bullishness coming back, maybe in course of time, in couple of weeks, we can be in a good position to look for the buy on dips opportunity. But for the time being, if your outlook is purely for the couple of sessions, then I would advise going for a long trade in this stock at the current juncture, because it is seeing a sharp decline after this earnings report, and that is like catching a falling knife, which is best avoided. So let it allow to stabilize, to find its ground on which to stand, and once it does that, we will be in a good position to capitalize on the situation and go for the trade as and when there is a good risk reward ratio. By good, I mean favorable one, better than 1 is to 1, and maybe if ideally we think about it, even more than 1 is to 2. From the medium term perspective, the things have been bullish for a while now. Last couple of months have seen the valuations of the Broadcom rise and rise, and even after this decline, it is still quite close to its all time high. It is much nearer to its all time high than its low, which is far, far away. And after having seen its valuation surge by 30 to 40% in last couple of months only, if some correction also happens, it should be considered healthy and opportunity to trade and invest moving forward. But whether it is the time to think that the correction is over and it is going to start to rally, maybe not, but there are key levels for us to watch out for. The 1200 is one such level on which we should keep our eyes, we should be seeing if there is decline below that or not over next few days. And if it doesn't really decline much below the 1200 mark, I feel that we might see a further move on the higher side. So watch out for the share price performance over next few sessions, and if it holds, maybe next week around, you can even think about a new long trade, new long investing opportunity from the medium term perspective. For the longer term, it is sitting on the top, as I said. It is nearly on its record high, and in such an environment, it is going to be a difficult choice for us to trade and invest again on the current valuations, because it has already seen a strong growth, and before it consolidates, we can't really say if it is going to continue or reverse its course. So if you are a long-term player, maybe some patience is warranted. It will be better to simply sit on the sidelines and wait for the opportune time, which is likely to come. When it will come, I don't know. That is a open question. But we will have to be keeping an eye on these share price movement, and maybe in next few months, if not early, you might get an opportunity to invest from the long term perspective as well. So that's my outlook looking at the Broadcom Inc.'s share price performance and its financial report. Both of these are pointing to a brighter future, but for us it to work out, we also have to look at the possibility of everything going wrong and then taking the precautionary measures to be prepared for that eventuality. That means we will have to be prudent in our approach and go for the wait only if there is a decent risk reward ratio, with the probability of it moving on our side being on the higher side. Now it's time for me to sign off for the day. If you have found the session helpful for your trading and investing decisions, do like and subscribe to the channel. We have equally interesting sessions being organized every day, and I also keep covering interesting stocks to work with. So do come back. See you next time around. Till then, goodbye.